Doing? It's me again. I'm under the impression that we're going to have to do a lot to help out, especially down in Las Vegas now. But the issue is, again, we have to look at the fact that now we have this little wild card into the issue about how, what, why, and who is actually creating the issues. Like I talked about earlier, these disasters. These are some of the disasters that I was talking about. It's only going to take this one person. But now, we're right back to the shooting thing again. But you got to kind of look at this and say, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's just not the guns. Maybe it's the people that are holding the guns. Okay? Because if you don't want to reform the gun issue, maybe you need to reform the people that have the guns. So let's take a look at the pattern. But what we're going to do here today is our next particular issue here is life training. This thing here I'm going to put into 3 different parts. Why? Because it's extremely important, and it goes along with the issue of the fact that right now we're looking at an issue where the life that we have in the United States, like I said, is about to get upended. Now you got the FBI talking about, well, why did this guy do this? And I'm going to give you an example. Because, you know, the big issue is in this country, everybody wants to drive and be in a hurry. What people are failing to realize is that people need contact. With these phones and the fact that you don't care about nobody, you are creating your own evil within your own community. Why? Because you don't care. You don't care whether or not that person is hurt. You don't care whether or not that person is alone. You don't care whether or not that old woman or somebody over there is so in such misery that you want to stop by and at least say hello. And see, this is the issue that creates the lifestyle that we have in the United States. Now, this particular lifestyle, I'm going to use this as part 1. And this particular, and you have to listen to this. This is what you call humility to the gift. I'm saying that simply because, you see, when it comes to a lifestyle, you have to make a change. And this all comes into that issue of sanity and who has the ability to actually give the right information. Because if you look at what we're seeing right now, you're seeing people that have money. And then you have these people that, I mean, maybe it's just not the money, but in this society it is the money. Because once you have the money, you are supposed to be able to say, hey, I'm a good person now. I want to help my community. I want to help people. And see, this is where the lifestyle has changed. Because of the fact that we do not respect the fact that we were sent here for a reason. Okay? And even when we got to this country here, which was really the last country that anybody could have ever had really populated. This was the last largest space. Because even if we look at this, whether it was North America or the Mexican portion of North America, or even when it came to Canadian areas, you see, we don't have their history, but we do know that those were Indians from the very beginning over in the Canadian areas because of the fact that they were indigenous people coming in from the Soviet areas, from Alaska, and then, you know, they were taking fishing boats and things from, I heard, all the way from Finland and some of the other areas because they could walk across the ice then. So they traveled in these other issues. But listen, our particular issue here, and I'm going to tell you the real problem that we're looking at here is because we don't respect the fact that, you see, we were sent here to do good. We were sent here to care for this new land and this new way of life, but it's all been poisoned simply because of the slavery, because of the fact that now everybody wants to come here, and now everybody that, and I'm going to tell you the truth, this place is going to be so glutted with people, it will be unimaginable. You'll think that Hindus and the rest of these people are doing, no. They're coming over here because somebody keeps telling them this is a land of opportunity. And we know it's not. I know it's not. Because I'm a black man. And I've been persecuted from the day I was born. I'm not going to sit up here and continue to lie to somebody and tell them, hey, yeah, go to the United States. It's great over there. It's not. You have all these people here that want what they want. And in this particular society, the pushback is you don't get because you don't cooperate. So when it comes to the gift that you have, if you were born in a certain country, nobody says you should stay there, but I believe you were put there for a reason. Now, if you don't believe that, God or the Creator or anybody like that has part of what you have to do in your future, that's your business. But the gift is, you're alive, you have some sort of mind, but that mind wants something. And that's where that humility comes from. Because if you're just here and you're a mind, you're dead. You're not going to make it. So you have to look at how the humility, simply because now, and this life training thing, what I'm saying here is because of the fact that in this society, our training is not to pay attention to the life. You're supposed to be paying attention to these answers, giving the answers, and to make sure those answers are right. Now, when it comes to corporate issues and the ability to make a career, now those issues are what's called the life training. See, because you have to train to get into a corporate status. You have to train to get into your career. You have to be trained to move into the issues that are specific to how you make money within this society, within this particular North American realm of life. So, and again, you got to look at the competency. Why? Because when you make that decision, when you make that judgment to say, well, I'm going to do this, now it's your competency. It's just like me. I have a competency issue simply because of the fact that I chose to do this. I chose to use these topics as a venue to communicate to everybody, but also to make sure that my conscience was clear as to what is and what is not. Because right now, as you can tell, just from this past Vegas thing, it's horrible. But that's just not it. It wasn't the fact that the president went over to Puerto Rico and started throwing things at people. It was the fact that those people now are permanently devastated. Why? We've got some more hurricanes coming. It's going to be water, and then there's winter. And then on top of that, he was over there talking about that debt. He's not going to help them people. I'm going to tell you that right now. I hate for you to come into this issue. And I'm hoping that most people do begin to realize that all that you know is at an end. So, life training, part 1, humility to the gift. What you have to do now is pay attention to what you have. Because this gift will now get you out of whatever it is you're in. If you don't recognize it, then you have a problem. I recognize it because I'm going to go camping. I'm going for the hills. I'm not going to stay here and be devastated by these disasters and these people and all these angry individuals that are now coming to this country wanting something and are not going to get it. So we have to look at this and we say, you have to look at a lifestyle. For me, I'm going to use this particular lifestyle. See, my lifestyle was that my parents raised me within a church environment where I had respect for my Creator, God. I am a Christ disciple. That is who I follow. That is my specific issue. My mother was a Pentecostal, but she was very strict. And that's cool, no problem. I love my mother. And my dad was hardly religious at all. So, as we move into these lifestyles, we look and we say, okay, well, I taught my kids to pray over their meals. That's a lifestyle for me. Okay? I pray when I go to bed at night. And as you can tell, I communicate as if I'm because I am getting my specific lifestyle from my biblical training, from what my parents taught me, and from what I know to be good, because I chose to be this good person, and I chose to say, well, I'm going to move forward and do those things like pray over my food and to bless people instead of hurting them, give money when I can, and also do a good job when I'm called to do a job, those type of things. And, work in the community, that type of stuff, And then the other issue is being renewed within your life. Because, again, if you look at a lifestyle as compared to your humility to the gift. Let's take menopause, and I think I talked to this before, menopause and life-changing issues. You see, for me, apparently I must know something. I mean, I'm overweight, but I do believe I'm losing weight and that I have a lot more years to go and I have an opportunity to learn. But a lot of people get into issues like menopause and older age, like middle age, like 50, the next they stop. See, I think that's the time when you have to get your body in order and say, well, listen, let me start pushing again to where I can get it to where I can, I all of a sudden had been reborn. That's the way I did it. So I started walking and climbing and doing it. I'm going to get a bike. I'm going to do these things and start all over again. See, because even though funds are the issue, it's still a matter of your life. It's still a matter of saying, well, wait a minute. Well, when I get older, what am I going to do? Just acquire all this stuff and do what? Sit around with it? Look at all these people that home. What do they call them? Hoard. That's their lifestyle. But they want everything. Oh yeah, you know who they are. You know them. You know who they are. But this is their lifestyle. It's not a godly lifestyle. It's not even somewhat of a human lifestyle, because you can't, in a sense, say that you're doing a human issue simply because, wow, people talk or people do things. But that's not the case, So you have to look at it and say, well, let's look at this and look and say, well, let's try to take this lifestyle and make it better for everybody. And that's what I try to do. So when it comes to that, and even your respect for your Creator, the gifts that you've been given, and like I said, this humility issue right now is going to come in a big way. Because right now, as people become more angry and people begin to point fingers and begin to hold other people accountable, which is what I'm going to do, I'm holding a lot of people responsible, because now that I'm at this age, I was expecting a lot more, but I'm going to start doing a lot more in order to get my new understanding of this society and this new life, how I'm going to be able to move forward. Because now that I see the reality in it, it makes a lot more sense to me. Just like this 7 years, and how these words and how these clues and all these things that are happening with weather and people dying. Oh my God, Tom Petty? That dude's only like 5 years older than me. What's going on, man? I'd say he had a good life, but geez, man, I think I'd rather take 90 than 65. So, if we look at this and we understand, let's say right now, with life training, we look at this and we say, okay, the Savior, okay, my master requires respect. Fear from those who choose the Savior, Jesus, that fear respect is the next step in life toward an abundant life. See, because you have to make a decision, just like I did. I was crying in prison. Yeah, it was bad. I said, I don't want to be in prison. I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to stop. And it's only when you come to that bare bones, you know what I'm saying, where I just can't take it no more, where you holler out and you cry and you say that I just can't do this myself. See, for me, that was my lifestyle. That was my issue. When I decided and said, you know something, my mother was right. I'm going to take Christ on. I'm going to take on that yoke. I'm going to do that. But see, this isn't a religious issue. See, I'm more about the money than I am anything. But this is my lifestyle. I figured later on, as time goes on, I'll probably end up doing most of my spiritual work, when it comes to retirement and when I'm done and what I can do for other people after I've learned and had this ability. But now I have to build. I have to begin to set this egg. I have to put these issues in place. I have to remember that in the past, all those things that I've done are really useless right now. simply because of the fact that everything's being redone. Right now in the White House, these people are going to send us right back to the beginning of the disaster that Obama started with. Why? Because they're deregulating. And that's the lifestyle. It's just like right now, if I were to go and make this big plea about how, okay, you've been hurting the black people all this time, okay, then they'll turn around and take it all. Because that's the lifestyle. That's what this is. And that's why in the scriptures it says you have to leave. You got to get out. Why? Avenue of escape. If you don't have this avenue of escape, what's going to happen? You're going to sit here and be angry like that dude in Vegas. He thought he was going to have bigger things. You know, maybe he didn't want the Filipino girlfriend. Maybe he wanted the Czech Republic girlfriend. Maybe he wanted Donald Trump's wife. I don't know. He should have went and bought one. He had the money. Trump bought his. You know what I'm saying? But listen, you know, the whole thing is the fact that if this part 1 in your life training, and this is going to be 3 parts. If your life training is not part of humility to the gift God gave you, then I suggest you just give up. Because after everything that begins to happen, you might as well take the homeless route. Why? Look at the homeless. What do they care for? And that's why there's more and more and more and more of them. See, they were homeless in some little room in a house. But now that the house is destroyed, they're homeless out in the open. Now remember, we all have a place. But remember one thing. Oil can't be bought for your lamp pretty much anywhere right now. But pretty soon, that oil will be gone. So bless you. Man, I hate it when I'm right. God bless.